This is gonna be a little bit different style video. I'm literally just by my bed simply because my bed is a mess. I'm not gonna show you because it is a mess and I'm literally cleaning it up and it's kind of embarrassing. So yeah, but today I want to talk about a little bit different. I'm also just gonna relax here. I spilled some water. It literally looks like spit. I literally just spilled some water. I don't know why my clothes are already getting dirty. I mean, I just ate food and now it's just getting dirty. So I'm gonna probably change after this video. But I don't think it's bad. But anywho, moving on. I want to talk about a different a different topic. And the girl who got famous from Mr. Beast and started an OF, her name is Camila. Camila. I don't know how to. I'm gonna call it Camila because I think that's how you pronounce her. But her name. But I honestly think she might quit OF. I mean, here's the thing. I wanted to make a video on this for a very long time too. For about not a month, but for about a week. And yes, that's a long time for me. Sometimes when I think about stuff like this, it usually lasts a day or two and then gets off my head. But this is something that's being like repeated over and over again. And like, it's just something that's telling me that she might really quit OF. For starters, I just recently, learned that she's thinking about, God in a way where it's like, will God forgive her and stuff like this, because she's done, really, really terrible things. I mean, all of us done terrible things. And for me, I'm not really a believer, but for me, looking at this and looking like, okay, she wants to change, and I think she's going to change in the near future, and I guarantee she's going to change in the near future. And I think the reason is because, she's thinking, and I don't think she likes what she's doing. I mean, her channel, she does a podcast. I think it's like a whole bunch of OF people. But even then, it feels like the way she's talking, the way that she's, I don't know what it is. I feel like sometimes when she talks about OF, she feels some guilt, okay? And I think that guilt is finally creeping on her. And in a weird way, asking, will God really forgive me? And I just want to say, not everybody who believes, not everybody who asks the question will eventually, go to God. That's one thing that, a lot of people need to understand, especially Christians too, where someone could be asking that over and over again, and then at the end of the day, they just won't go. But I think this time is different, because the reason is she really does feel guilt in a weird way. When I watched, Impulsive, I don't watch that typically. The last time I watched it was probably during COVID, and then maybe one more, KSI. And even then, I don't really watch Impulsive, probably in the important stuff, probably when he interviewed Donald Trump and all of that. But other than that, I don't really watch it. And the thing that shocked me was I saw one of her videos, one of the Impulsive videos saying, hey, I don't know if, God will forgive me. Literally, she's like, we always have to talk about God. People say talk about God, but then it's hard for her because she doesn't know if, and in a weird way, God doesn't approve, and she knows this, right? And especially the way that you see in the Bible, she knows this. And I think what's going to happen in the near future is she's going to stop OF. And even before I even heard about that, one of the strangest things that I've seen was her talking about Vine. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes when people talk about something that's different, for example, let's say I'm a paleontologist, right? And I talk about superheroes. That doesn't mean I'm going to go ahead and do superhero movies in the future because I talk about it. However, the way that she talked about Vines, it just, for me, a weird way that she talked about Vines, it felt like that she really, really regret, OF, and she really did somewhat feel like she regret OF, and in some ways it feels like she really is trying to somewhat change, and she can't because she already built a career on OF, and I think that the next step for her is probably start on her YouTube channel, probably grow on that and all of that stuff. But in reality, I do think that she will quit OF probably within, let's say, a month or two from now, right? And I think it's going to be really recent too, and especially when Vine come out and stuff like this. And I think the reason is because I think she wants to have something that's completely opposite with, sexual stuff. And how a lot of girls, when they start OF, I've noticed this too, a lot of them really feel guilty and they just feel ashamed. And I know people really tend to like make fun of these girls, and I really do feel bad for them in so many levels. And I wish, like people told them, no, don't do this and stuff like that. There's some who do and some don't listen. Some change, and some just keeps on going because they like what they're doing. But honestly, I'm just saying this right now. I do feel like she's gonna change in a weird way, in a most crazy way, and I think it's gonna start with vines. I think it's gonna start with vines. I mean, first it's gonna be God, and she's gonna say, "Hey," and she said it before, about a month ago. She said, "Hey, will God forgive me?" And all of that stuff. She's talking about God and like how people want her to talk about God, but like it feels like she can't because she's doing something the opposite of God, and she knows this. And I think what's gonna happen is that guilt is gonna come in, and then when vines happen, and this is really, for me, this is really like predictable human behavior. And I think when Vine happens, I think she's just gonna start trying to be a little more funny, a little just trying to make her career the opposite of OF, because I don't think she wants to do it, despite her making millions. And I think in some ways she's gonna have to either sacrifice that millions or do something else, right? And I think she will. And I think the reason is because that guilt, like I said, it's gonna creep up eventually, and it's going to somewhat make her a good person in a way. I mean, she is, but like, in a way, like, she's going to become better, and she's going to know, like, hey, let's not do this, because in some ways it really does feel some guilt. I mean, with that being said, like, I know there's a lot of girls and a lot of people, who start OF, and not just girls, even guys, right? A lot of people who start OF, they end up regretting, and they end up really, really just wish that they haven't. Like, I remember Mia Khalifa. I know, okay, just hear me out. But I remember Mia Khalifa, she's pretty much, she's trying to be known as a jewelry designer. And she goes with this podcast guy, like with the microphone outside. And she's like, what are you known for? And instead of saying OF, she said, I am known for doing jewelry. And obviously, she's known for OF more than jewelry, but she doesn't want to have that persona because in a way she feels guilt. And people, even guys and girls, people don't like to be looked at, sexually. And like, maybe some people do, people who are probably either evil or simply just don't care. But I think the people who really do have these emotions inside of them and really kind of has this guilt of saying, am I doing wrong? And the people who questions these, I think those are the people that really are going to be convicted in a way. And it doesn't have to be with Christianity. I think it's just going to be conviction within themselves. I don't remember the girl's name, but the girl with like 1,000 people, like she's left with 1,000 people, I don't think she'll change. Like, she's the type of person, well, she's going to keep doing what she's doing. And then when she gets older, she's going to stop. She has a whole bunch of money and done. I mean, in some weird ways, she might change. But right now, like, that girl particularly, I don't think she's going to change. And I think she's going to like what she's doing because she's earning money. And the controversy, I can't say it, but like the controversy, I can't, but you know what I'm saying? Like the amount of drama that she has, she's going to earn a lot of money off of that. And she's just going to keep on doing that drama, keep on doing this thing. And, money speaks with a lot of people. And at the same time, I don't think that, she's going to change, particularly right now, simply because, she's going to do what she's doing. She's going to be, trying to sleep with 2,000 people. I guarantee it. I think she tried to do that, but I guarantee it, she's going to cause a lot of drama, and that's how people make money, especially on the internet. Like, for example, Pokemon, how she's making money on, with drama. Like, I guarantee you, the drama, that specific drama, she's probably making a lot of money off that. And drama really, particularly, it makes a lot of people money. Like, if you have a drama channel, you could probably make a ton of money. But I am literally off topic. What am I talking about? But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video on this, and let me know if you guys agree or not. Personally, I really generally do feel bad, with these OF girls. And fun fact, like, I've actually stopped, watching that because, I've seen the emotional toll of these people, and I've seen them, like, literally on interviews and saying how they regretted it. And that alone really just made me stop and really just made me question, not even, their morals, what they had in the past, but really question my morals too, where it's like, if they regret these things, and like, I'm pretty much, like, because I'm watching it, right, I am contributing to their regrets. And I don't want that. And that's why I stopped. And I encourage people to stop. Whether, you think, Christians, whether you think Christianity will help you stop, whatever it is, just stop watching it. Because I do think that, with these, sexual things and sexual tendency that people have. And I know this is a very sensitive video, but I think these things should be privated, and these things should be within you and another person's, partner. Like a man and a woman should be together. Like literally just make it private and make, your whole sexual life private and everything like that. But personally, I simply, like I said, I stopped watching it, and I simply do think she will change, and I do, and I think it's just gonna start with Vines. I think she has room to grow, and even in the beginning, I know she did some awful things, okay? But even in the beginning, I really could tell she was a good person, and I didn't know why people hated her. I'm the guy where I don't speak until everybody speaks, okay? Like, I should have spoke. Like, I need to tell myself to speak more out loud. But no, in the beginning, I do think she was a good person, even though she made her brother do a lot of these crazy things, right? I do think, she was a good person in the beginning. I think she just, lost control when people, thought she was kind of cute, and she thought OF. And then that's when, like, the whole OF thing started. But, like, overall, I really do generally think that, some of these people do have regrets. And not only that, like, when I see their interviews, I really don't see any signs of, like, manipulation or, oh, I have regrets, that means you shouldn't do it so I can get all the money, like, stuff like that. People tend to do that, especially on YouTube. I've actually had a lot of people tell me not to do YouTube because it's so hard and whatever. So then, like, because they're so scared, right? Sometimes I can tell in a weird way. But like I said, even though, just letting you know, I'm not the best YouTuber, I need to stop, changing the entire subject. Anywho, on a more serious moment, I really do think, like I said, she's going to change. I think that she's going to have a period of, like, okay, what am I doing and stuff like this. And I think this is, like, her grace period. And I honestly, despite me not believing in God and whatever, I do generally pray for her. And I wish her for the best of luck. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, that's all I have to say. What do you guys think? And yeah, the moral of the story is, don't watch OF, really don't, and control yourself with it, because at the end of the day, they're still people, and at the end of the day, I can guarantee about 90% of these OF people will eventually, have a lot of regrets, will eventually have a ton of regrets. Maybe some won't because they like what they're doing, and I guarantee it, but 90% of people who start OF will eventually have a lot of regrets in the future. That's why I think as a society, we shouldn't really support these things. Instead, we should really support people, people who just, do random content, even if it's cringe. Please support that. Like the reason is because as long as it's not like something where it puts someone's harm or people will regret it in the future, as long as it's something like that, like, don't support that. Support something that's like, something that's either creative, something that's even entertaining, something that is generally has a purpose. And maybe my videos don't have a purpose, and I know Minecraft videos don't have a purpose and whatever, but just support something that doesn't harm the other person, and just support something that doesn't make people regret in the future. And I think a lot of people, is eventually going to realize that in the near future. Like, back then we had, like, strip clubs and stuff like this, and I think people took that for an advantage, but we didn't have the internet to tell people that it was wrong. And I think now when we have the internet, I think it's going to be more influential, and hopefully more influencers and more people eventually, start speaking out on those. And yeah, hopefully one day they can, not support these OF things and, support something that's genuine. But before I go, I do want to say something. Do the right thing. I know it's hard, but do the right thing. Always, always just, even if you make mistakes, it's just always, do the right thing. And, like, don't do something that's going to put you in harm or regret in the future. A lot of people really start like these stuff because they're broke and stuff like this. And it simply kind of puts me in a place where of sadness, and these people, you know, they need help and they need stuff. And if you're in that position, go out and seek help. Don't start an OF or you'll eventually regret it in the future. It's kind of like in the Bible, where it really literally says in the Bible, it says, what does a man profit if like he gains the whole world but loses his only soul? That literally means in a metaphorical way and also in a literal way, where literally you could probably be selling your soul over OnlyFans, and at the end of the day you're gonna regret it, and a lot of people will in the near future. And I mean, hopefully one day, you know, she changes. I personally believe she's gonna change. Like the girl who met with God, the girl who started OF and met with God, you know, I wasn't expecting that. That was a total shocker. I was like, no way. But you know, anything happens. You know, I could be wrong even with the girl with 1,000 men, you know. Who knows? People are unpredictable. People will change before your eyes. But I can tell one thing for sure. I can't tell Camilla, or I can't pronounce her name, I'm sorry. Mr. Beast girl, okay? I can tell 100% she's going to change. And I think she's going to try to do something better. And despite all that, that's pretty much I got to say. Make sure you like and subscribe, I guess. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all I want to say. And let me know what you guys think. Whether this video gets 2 views or 1,000, whatever, how much views it does, let me know what you guys think. But personally, I wish her the best of luck. And I really do want her, and I want everybody, not just her, I want everybody to succeed. But succeed in the right way. And don't do things that harms you. Don't do pranks that harms other people, and don't do things that harms you, and even for content in general. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. I'll see you guys on Monday. But yeah, I really don't want to end this video. I have so much more things to say, but right now I'm just going to end it. It's, you know, 17 minutes long. I want to be, I literally want to be mindful for your time, but I'm just not right now. So I'm going to end it. I'll see you guys later, and peace out. Yeah.